What time did you wake up this morning? There's one secret that many of the most influential people in history have in common. You wouldn't believe how waking up at 5 a.m. can transform your life, and by the end of this video, you'll be inspired to join Jeff Bezos and the other billionaires, CEOs, and famous people who wake up at 5 a.m. This summary of the 5 a.m. Club will not only delve into the transformative power of waking up early, but also explore practical strategies to boost productivity, personal growth, and overall success. Imagine a depressed entrepreneur and a frustrated artist would meet with a billionaire with a deep understanding of the habits that lead to success. What do you think they would discuss? How to get rich? How not to get depressed? How to lose weight? How to succeed in business? Of course not. Even if these topics are interesting, what has been bothering us for years is how we can achieve more, grow faster, and become more successful, and the billionaire has a secret to share. You need to get the most important things done before the brain gets tired, he says to the entrepreneur and the artist. But what's so special about this time of the day? The answer is, it's so much easier to get into a state of flow where you're so focused on the task at hand that you completely forget about everything else. It seems like common sense, but it's one of the most powerful secrets that the most successful people have known for centuries. One of the world's best-known writers, John Grisham, is a master of this approach. In the morning hours before we're overstimulated by technology, the TV, and other distractions, we can get into that magical state where we're virtually unstoppable. We have a limited amount of brain power for the day. Our brain power is like a battery that gets drained as the day goes on. In the morning when it's calm, the front part of the brain, called the prefrontal cortex, is most active. That's the part of our brain that allows us to hold in mind all the new ideas and possibilities. It also allows us to get focused, stay creative, and make decisions. The billionaire further tells us that those who made history did 4 things differently than others. First, those who had the self-discipline to capitalize on their talents did so by understanding themselves and their goals. They are the ones who do not wait for motivation to come knocking on their doors, but rather anticipate it by being passionate. The second thing that makes a person successful is their ability to beat distractions. With social media being a part of everyone's daily routines, distractions have become more prevalent. Waking up early before the distractions and the busy schedule start is one of the things that helps to keep people on track. Another thing that helps to become successful is concentrating and focusing on the things that matter to one's goals. That might mean that some people have to cut off the TV and stop playing video games for a while. The third thing that those who made history have in common is consistency. Day stacking, which is the word the billionaire used to emphasize the act of consistently doing the same thing for a long time, helps people stay focused on their goals. Momentum is one of the things that helps to push people forward in life. In other words, once people start making progress, they will not want to stop. The final thing that the billionaire advises us to do is to take action and constantly do the hard work necessary for long-term success, because he knows that his own success is a result of his hard work and his commitment. Now, everyone loves talking about how having the right mindset is the most important thing in succeeding, but this is only one of the 4 sets that we need to be successful. Robin Sharma refers to these as the interior empires we need to have to get what we want. Our heart set encompasses our emotional well-being. When we're stressed, we're less productive, and as a result, we produce fewer results. Our emotional health affects everything else in our lives. Our health set includes our physical well-being. We need to make time to exercise, and we need to eat right to stay sharp. The emotional and psychological health set affects our ability to think clearly and develop clear, decisive actions. Longevity is the #1 ingredient to real success. The soul set involves our spirituality. The billionaire said that spiritual well-being, no matter how you may define it, will always have a direct link to your success. Believing in a higher power, believing in yourself, and having the faith to believe in everyone around you is what drives your success. So, what exactly should we do when we wake up in the morning? According to the billionaire, his 20-20-20 formula is the answer. He proposed that we spend the first 20 minutes of our morning engaging in physical exercise. Yoga, weightlifting, or a walk are some of the ways that people can wake up their bodies in the morning before they start thinking. Anything that gets our hearts pumping. Once the heart is pumping, it's time to dedicate the next 20 minutes of our morning to reflect. Introspection and contemplation are what will allow us to live a happy and fulfilling life. Think about your goals and what you want out of life. Journaling is one of the ways in which you can reflect on your thoughts. Maybe you might also want to read something inspiring or motivating. The last 20 minutes should be dedicated to finding inspiration. We grow when we are inspired. Intuition and inspiration come when we look outside of our worlds to find things that motivate us. Documentaries, TED Talks, and self-help books are some of the ways people can inspire themselves. Of course, watching our videos is also one of the best ways to find inspiration. However, the question is not what tips will make you successful, but rather what actions you will take to succeed. A combination of willpower, determination, and self-discipline are the keys to success. Once again, it's all about the habits you create in your life. Always remember, habits don't just magically appear. They have to be created. There are a few steps that you need to take to build habits that will allow you to succeed. First, you need to create a trigger for yourself. Triggers are the actions that start a mental routine. Setting your alarm clock to go off at 5 a.m. is a trigger to allow you to wake up early. If you want to start exercising, you need to get your workout clothes ready the night before so that when you wake up in the morning, your body will automatically know what to do. Next is the ritual. This is a repeatable action that you do immediately after the trigger. Spontaneity is the secret to success, but to get started, you need a ritual. When you tell your body that it's time to get up from the bed, you should immediately stretch your arms wide, take a deep breath, and give yourself a big smile. It might sound silly, but this simple ritual signals to your body and mind that it's time to wake up. Finally, the reward is the thing that drives you in achieving your goal. The joy of knowing that you'll have uninterrupted time to work before your day starts is one argument that will push you to wake up early. If you're trying to get in shape, the gift of seeing your body change and getting better at sports will drive you to keep going with your exercise routine. If you want to learn more about habits and the process of creating them, also check out our summary of Atomic Habits by James Clear. Now, the billionaire also mentions that we need to repeat each of these steps every day. When we wake up in the morning, we must get out of bed and get started right away. If you have a habit of hitting the snooze button, your subconscious mind will start to think that it's okay to continue to sleep instead of waking up. However, to be able to wake up in the morning, we must have a consistent routine in place for the night. A good night's sleep will allow us to get the energy we need for the day. It's when we're asleep that our bodies repair and renew. A sleep routine starts with ensuring that we're in bed before 10 p.m. Electronic devices shouldn't be used at least 1 hour before going to bed, as the blue light they emit can trick our brains into thinking it's still daytime. Melatonin is a hormone that controls our sleep cycle, and the blue light emitted from electronic devices can suppress melatonin production and disrupt our sleep cycle. A quiet environment from 8 p.m. onwards is essential. Earplugs or white noise are both effective in creating a bedtime atmosphere. Radio static is also a good choice for creating silence. We should be preparing everything we need for the next day between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. This is the time to write down and do everything that we need to do to prepare clothes and to be grateful for the day that has passed. Gratitude is essential because it will make us realize the blessings in our lives every single day. After we've gotten into the habit of waking up early, being productive during the day, and getting a good night's sleep every night, momentum is what drives our success. Using the first 90 minutes of our day to focus on the things that are important to us will move our success forward. Then, we should have hour-long cycles of focused work followed by short breaks throughout the day. Setting small goals for ourselves, such as accomplishing 5 micro-improvements each day, allows us to make progress incrementally. Incorporating regular workouts into our day routine not only helps us stay fit, but also serves as a means of winding down after a productive workday. Do you think that waking up early enables you to achieve already before noon what most people will achieve in their whole day? Comment below and be sure to subscribe.